2 good exercises is everything you need to grow your back. But the contrary is what most people do. They have 6 different back exercises and then wonder why they aren't seeing progress in any of them. Because it's not about the quantity, it's about the freaking quality. And the absolute best back exercise out there is the pull-up. And I love the pull-up because it basically only has pros. It builds an amazing V-taper, the width of the back. It builds the thickness of the back. It is one of the most, if not the most functional exercise out there. You can basically do them anywhere, no matter if you're out camping in the woods, if you're in a city, or if you have an access to a gym. It doesn't matter. They're also super easy to overload. You can add more sets, you can do harder reps, or the weighted belt. And because of the weighted belt, you can specify the weight however you want to. You could add 0.5 kilograms every week for a whole year if you would like to. You're the one that decides the weight, the jumps, no one else. And of course, the most important thing, the exercise is freaking really fun. The only negative I see with the pull-up is that if you cannot do a pull-up, it will take a little period of time where you will have to learn the pull-up. Meaning it's not like a machine. A total beginner can just not walk into the gym, use a machine, and you're going. At a pull-up, if you cannot do a pull-up, you'll have to have the goal in mind, set the target, and focus on achieving one pull-up. But if you just get over one pull-up, if you can do one pull-up, it'll be so much easier to do more and more and more and more pull-ups. And I'm telling you, the pull-up is one of the highest ROI, basically the highest return on investment exercise you will ever do. So the time is absolutely worth spending on learning how to do a pull-up if you cannot do one. And if you want to learn a pull-up and learn the different progressions, I've made a specific video about that. Check out the second link in the description for that. So now to some tips I've learned over the years. First of all, find a good bar. The better the basics are, the better the bar is, the easier we'll be able to overload and just learn the pull-up in general. So find a stable bar that won't just flip around and fall over, that is tall enough for you so you can hang freely, and that isn't too thick, too thin. So just the right height, the right thickness. Most gyms always have some sort of bar that fits according to you. Then learn the right grip. Most people don't think this is important, but this is incredibly important. I put this even before learning the right form. If you have the right grip, you'll be able to do 1 to 3 reps more than if you had the wrong grip. So take a really good grip, put the thumb around the bar, not over the bar, around the bar, and really drive your knuckles into the bar, up to the ceiling. Not into the wall, up to the ceiling as high as you can. This will give you so much more power in the forearms that you can do more reps. And one thing you don't want to underestimate is shock. I'm telling you, if you have the right grip and you have shock, they just go together like this. It's incredible. Use shock one time and you will never leave it. I freaking love shocks when doing pull-ups, and I'm getting really pissed when I forget it when I'm at the gym. So now, learn good form before you really get serious into learning more reps, begin with weighted pull-ups, and so on. And I learned this the hard way. I thought I made so much progress all the time. I thought I had really good form. And then one day, I took a video, and I was doing half reps with 20 kilogram weighted. And I just looked ridiculous, and I felt really retarded. So I had to go back to basics and really learn the form. All the way down, at least the shin above the bar, controlled on the eccentric, and don't freaking kip up and use your legs and everything. Stay clean, brace your abs when going up and down, and freaking breathe. Very simple. And like maybe I understood, take videos of yourself doing pull-ups, or just any type of form you want to improve on in general. Just take videos, see what you think, oh, this looks good, this doesn't look that good, and just keep going, and then you will see the progress over time, which will motivate you, and you will actually see things that are wrong before you injure yourself. So that's a really great tip. I train pull-ups differently according to how strong or far you are into the pull-up game. For example, if you only can do 1 or 2 pull-ups, I would train with a lot more sets and lower intensity than if I can do like 20 pull-ups. Then I would have a lot fewer sets and higher intensity. But you'll learn more about that in the video in the second link. So I usually do 2 to 4 sets and between 6 to 12 reps in my working sets. I'm always 1 to 3 reps away from failure, because absolute failure will just destroy my future sets. And it's not really easy to train to absolute failure on pull-ups, because you either can do a rep or you cannot. You cannot really grind out a rep. I would use rep goals to overload the pull-up, meaning that in every single set you do, you have a repetition goal. And when you hit that goal, the next time you work out that muscle group, for example pull-ups, you will just add weight. So for example, on my first set, I usually have the rep goal of 6 or 8 repetitions. Right now I have 6 repetitions. So if I do 15 kilogram weighted pull-ups and I hit 16 pull-ups, sorry, 6 pull-ups, then the next time I do pull-ups, I add a little bit of weight. Between 2.5 to 5 kilograms is optimal. On the second set, my rep goal is usually 10 or 12. If you do not want to do weighted, I would do 4 sets and then do max reps on every single set, meaning that you're 1 to 2 reps away from failure and you take a really good amount of rest time. I would say if you do pull-ups, always take a good amount of rest time, because it's such important that you have good form and are fully recovered to really give it your best, give it your all. So 2 to 5 minutes even, I would say, is optimal when you're training hard in the range of 1 to 2 reps away from failure. The second exercise you need is the cable row. And I love the cable row because it's the opposite of the pull-up. It is super stable, you're sitting down, you can change the grip, you have a fixed path, you have basically no freedom at all like you have in a pull-up. And there's fixed weights, you cannot just change the weight however you like to. The weight jumps are fixed. And the pros with that are that the form is so much easier, you have a lot better mind-muscle connection in general, you can really work on the form, be slow and controlled and really feel that burn, feel the muscle. You can prioritize different muscle groups depending on which grip you're choosing. If you feel like you're lacking a little upper back, you can just train that. If you want to grow your thicker lats, you can just have a straight bar, wider grip, and so on and so on. And it is less grip dependent than the pull-up, because after you've done pull-ups, your grip is often weakened. If you now would do barbell rows, which is very grip dependent, then you will also just perform worse. One of the biggest pros of the cable row is that you can go to true absolute failure. Because of the stableness, because of the fixed path, you can really grind out the reps like you cannot do with other rows, pendlay rows, all the dumbbell rows, all the barbell rows, and with the pull-up. But with the cable row, you can. And the only con I see with this is, of course, sometimes the fixed weights and that you need a machine in your gym. But most normal gyms have this machine or some sort of cable, so you can just work it out somehow. It usually always works. My tips for the cable row exercise is that you, first of all, find a good machine. Some gyms have multiple, find the one you like. Some gyms just have one, use that one. Also, try different grips. See which grips you like. Train a couple of weeks with one grip, then change to a different grip, and just see which one you prefer. I've done it multiple times, and even sometimes I just feel like I want to use a different grip, I use a different grip. The exercise, of course, will train some muscle groups a little more in the back, depending on which grip you're choosing, but in the end you will get the same results. Also, different from the pull-up, here I like to do the suicide grip. So the grip not around the bar, but over the bar, which is called the suicide grip. And here I recommend that you really explosively pull the bar towards you and then really slow and controlled on the eccentric. Really feel that burn. Feel your back, build up that mind-muscle connection. And then again, do a really explosive rep. And the harder it gets, you can use a little bit of momentum. You don't need to be super strict. Use some momentum, go forward, go backwards, it's still rowing. I also like to go quite heavy, but it's still better to go too light than too heavy. Because if you go too heavy, you will not build up that mind-muscle connection, and the form will be pretty bad, and then in the end you will go to hurt yourself. I train cable row really simple. I usually do 2 sets. You can also do 3, and I always want to train in between 6 to 12 repetitions as well, and I always train to true failure or 1 rep away from failure. And I usually also cheat on the end reps, the last few reps, if I cannot really do them fully. Here I also use rep goals to progressive overload this exercise, and here I also do 1 set with 6 repetitions and then another set with 10 repetitions, which are the goals. And I would say the first set, don't go to absolute failure, because then the second set will be absolute shit. So go 1 rep to 2 reps away from failure, and then the second set you can just go frickin' all out. So that is everything for today. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section, and thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.